So what we'll do is, we will put her video in the tea break and you can watch it. It's amazing. She got out of her wheelchair. And it's an amazing inspirational story. And we will have the other two people over here, that's Kavita and Gita Kumudha, talking about what just Roop said, musculoskeletal system. Is that good? I invite Kavita, Freedom, and Gita Kumudha.
So please welcome Kumudha from Chennai. You can stand if you want, or you can sit.
We are welcoming Kavita. Where is Kavita here?
Sorry. Kavita, yes, please, Kavita.
Yeah. Then Helena is going to be on the video with us later. Gita Jaikumar.
If you're all here, that's it.
Oh, Gita is here. Okay, then Kumudha is
That's the same.
same. Oh, okay. So,
Yes, okay, yeah. Can you put on the light, Anu? So we are going to talk about the skeletal, musculoskeletal system. Dr. Bada, if you also want to join, you're welcome.
Dr. Bada,
Yes.
please come.
And there are three, I love to break things down very easily. And we can have three disorders. The first one is a disorder on the level of reception, like receiving when somebody touches you on the skin or you receive the light on the retina. The second is then the sensation, the sensing is being processed, analyzed through the nerves. And that is the level of integration. And the third one is the level of action. And that's what we're going to talk about now, where there are disorders on the level of action. So, I call you Gita. Yeah? Gita, this evening, she is going to be announced as the second master trainer in India.
Wow. Wow.
You've got 1.3 billion people. We need as many trainers as possible here. And Gita, where did your interest come from and what is your experience in your clinic?
I've been into fitness from the time I was 18 years. And so I have been working with muscles and bones and, you know, flexibility and stuff. And it just happened that, you know, the children grew up as in when they were 3 years or 4 years, I found that I had nothing to do at home, stepped into Reiki, became a grandmaster, and then went on and on and on. And I had done about 45 modalities. People ask me, why 45? And I tell them, why not 45? Because at some point, some tool comes in handy. And Meta Health just happened because, I mean, it is something really phenomenal. It was a point in my life where I was going through depression, and that's a different story. I don't want to go into that now. But I was depending on my spiritual guru. And that day when I went to him, he told me that, you know, he was accusing me, at least that's what I felt. He said, told his assistant, make her do this and make her do that. And, you know, my self-value just went down. And that day I took a decision. This is my body, and what the hell am I going and asking him for help? If I can't help myself, nobody is going to help. So that's the end. And I took his number off my phone, because if it was there, I would go back to him. I didn't know how I was going to get over the depression. I just came going through Facebook and saw Meta Health, didn't know what it was, what it entailed. But I just registered for level 1 with Anu. And after that, there was no looking back. Depression is gone, and here I am.
So thank you very much. Can you please share with us one of your client story where you had the disorder of the skeletal muscular system, musculoskeletal system?
I mean, it's very surprising because only now, I mean, like I've been working on patients using Meta Health from 2012 end. And only now there is a shift. Till now it has only been musculoskeletal system. Now it has gone into the cortex issues. So there have been many cases, and The first case the person who came to me was bound in a wheelchair. And she was a very old woman, around 70 years or so. So she had to depend on her daughter-in-law or somebody else in the family because she couldn't set up the laptop. The children would take it downstairs. So we worked on her, and the issue was like how in one of the sessions, I think yesterday, Anu said, 70 years and you could still be touched. And that's what happened to her. She was 70 years, she was in the intensive care unit. And she doesn't know what happened to the other patients. There were 2 of them, but she was touched, molested in the intensive care unit at 2 o'clock at night. And we worked on it, we released it. Her feet were fine because wheelchair, paralysis, multiple sclerosis, one of the themes affecting the leg is unable to escape, unable to flee. Then I didn't know because, she was very old, a lot of constraints. Whenever she spoke, her sister-in-law was there. She wasn't free enough. So I told her to have the physiotherapist in the room with her. And I asked him, what is the issue? So he said, please work on the gluteal muscles. So I said, what is there in the gluteal muscles? I worked on everything, the quads. One thing with the musculoskeletal system I've seen is that if a patient comes to you with just say a pain here, then the point of insertion is somewhere else. So just working on this and releasing it might not be the solution to the problem. You will have to make him turn his leg, see where else the pain is, see where the trigger points are, trace it down. So there are a number of other points you need to go into, and maybe even the connective tissue, the ligaments. It's just not the bone and the muscle. So I asked her, and then she sent the physiotherapist out of the room. And gluteal muscles, what do the children do when they want to hide something? They just put it under their bottom and sit down. So I just asked her, what are you doing? What are you hiding? Or is it that you're not possessing something? So then out came the answer. She was crying. And she said, I may be 70, but I might lose my husband. I've hidden this fact from him. I don't know because, he is a very hot-tempered guy. So if I tell him that I was molested, then I don't know what would happen. We worked on that. She spoke to him, and today she lives in Delhi, Kalkaji. She is walking upstairs, downstairs, taking the metro to Karol Bagh, all within a week.
So isn't that amazing? Because she knew the principles of mental health, and it was gluteus, she exactly knew what to ask. And where conventional medicine says that there is no way to heal it, that you will stay the rest of your life in the wheelchair, that was possible. So, Kavita, you live in Pune.
Yes, doctor.
You used to live in Delhi, no, in Mumbai.
In Mumbai.
And now you see a lot of clients in
Yes,
Pune.
yes.
And you also have got experience with clients who have got the disorder of their musculoskeletal system.
I get a lot of clients with lower back problem and sciatica nerve issue. And what I have understood, especially with sciatica, I'm sorry, I don't have a picture, but it is a nerve that passes through 2 very big muscles. And the conflict behind that always, with most of my clients, has been the feeling of trapped. And because they are feeling trapped and they cannot get out of it, they're constantly blaming themselves. So when in therapy work, I release the blame and I release the feeling of trapped, the nerve pain reduces substantially. And then I integrated Bowen therapy with that, which has completely healed them. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to use the word heal, but to the extent where they used to come to my place limping with 1 foot, they are absolutely fine doing the traveling, doing everything that they could not do earlier.
Can you share one case study with us?
I had this one person who was in his 40s, and he works in a very big corporate in Pune. And he had come to me with his left leg limping. And the doctors were just not being able to help him despite the muscle relaxants, painkiller, whatever. And his biggest thing was he's constantly going from one meeting to another, lot of traveling. So he was really not even able to take care of himself, not even be able to go for physio. And he was very reluctant to do therapy work with me. He said, I don't have 1.5 hours to sit with you and do therapy. And that is where I said, okay, fine, come for Bowen. That's only once a week, and in half an hour, I'll see what I can do for you. And he came regularly for Bowen. But what I did was, while doing Bowen, I used to keep talking to him in the meta language. I used to keep telling him, you know, I'm feeling that, you're feeling that emotion of being trapped. Where are you feeling trapped? I'm feeling trapped in my job. And that is how I started talking to him. So it was a indirect meta work that I did on him, along with Bowen therapy. And in flat 3 months, he was absolutely fine, traveling again. Everything was fine with him.
Can you just explain for those who don't know what Bowen therapy is?
Bowen therapy is a hands-on therapy where we make very soft moves on particular areas of the body, which starts the self-healing process of the body. It's very good for people who are not very good with cognitive work, like meta. So that is where I have integrated meta along with Bowen. So while I'm working on their body, I keep talking to them. So that is how it has helped them.
So thank you very much. So those of you who know me, they know that I am into color psychology, the Lucia color test. And we are now dealing with the muscles, with the bones, with the ligaments, so it's about action. And these two ladies have presented themselves in the color of action. Which one is it? Yes. And black is the color which amplifies everything. So they are well dressed, and Anton and I with gray, we are hiding something. So Anton, what is it that the patients who have MS or paralysis, what it is that they're holding back, that they're hiding, that they're not fully expressing?
Da habe ich
I'll translate.
ein Ehepaar,
He's got a couple,
ein sehr interessanter Fall.
a very interesting case.
Die Frau kommt mit ihm zu mir in die Praxis,
So the woman brought her husband to his clinic
weil er seit einem halben Jahr die Diagnose hatte, Multiple Sklerose.
because he had the diagnosis. He was diagnosed with MS half a year ago.
Und wie Quesi schon sagte, in der normalen Medizin ist das nicht heilbar.
And as I mentioned before, conventional medicine has no therapy for MS, no healing.
Was ist nun das Interessante an dem Fall? Er hat als eine hohe Person in einer Firma
So he was a high manager in a company, that was his profession.
und das hat er auch so gespürt, er ist was Besonderes.
And he had a high entitlement. I'm something special.
Und ich kann über mein Umfeld bestimmen.
And I'm the one who is the boss in my environment.
Dann hat er vor einem halben Jahr erfahren, dass er nicht der erste Freund seiner Frau war, was er immer angenommen hatte über 30 Jahre lang.
And then half a year ago, so when he got diagnosed with MS, he found out that he was not the first partner of his wife. And he always thought I was the first one.
Das hat sein ganzes Weltbild über die Frauen hat ihn da zusammengeschlagen. Sein ganzes Weltbild, die Beziehung zu Frauen, konnte er nicht mehr verstehen.
So his whole perspective, his whole worldview about women collapsed.
Und das Interessante war nun, nachdem wir das etwas erklärt haben, er wollte das eigentlich nicht so akzeptieren, aber die Therapie, die wir ihm gemacht haben, die war interessant.
So when Dr. Anton Bader then found out that this, identified that this is the cause, your entitlement, and then what has been revealed with your woman, that is the cause, at the beginning he did not want to accept it, but he said, then we did a very interesting therapy.
Jedes Mal, wenn wir ihn zur Physiotherapie geschickt haben und wenn junge Frauen es gemacht haben, hinterher war ihm wesentlich besser.
So when he went to physiotherapy and some young, nice, young lady did the physiotherapy, he felt better after that.
Ne? Eigentlich hatten wir dann die Idee, er müsste 3 Monate lang immer von einer Physiotherapeutin zur nächsten gehen, aber da hat er nicht mitgemacht.
So the idea was that he should go 3 months, every time he should have a different female physiotherapist, but he didn't agree with that.
Young woman. Young woman.
Young woman, young.
Und da hat er nicht mitgemacht.
And he didn't cooperate.
Und dann kam er nicht mehr.
So he couldn't get out of the MS. So what Dr. Anton just illustrated very, very precise is people who have a high entitlement and who are fixed in that and who are not opening up, they do not take the responsibility for their own transformation. So that's very, very important because we have seen when people are open to take responsibility and to reveal what is really behind it, then they open up and then they can transform. So Kavita, are you also working with children who've got disorders of the musculoskeletal system?
No, I haven't had children with any kind of muscular disorder. Just recently, I have a girl who's got flat foot. And the doctors have told her to get a surgery done. She's only 10 years old. So I suggested to the mother that, why don't you just let me do some work on her and let's see where it goes. So when she was standing, the gap between her 2 feet was 6 inches. And she's too small to do therapy. I mean, I tried it with her. She wasn't being able to give me enough answers. So again, I switched over to bone therapy. And after a few sessions, the gap has come down to 2 inches. And I'm still working on that. So hopefully, I think she won't require a surgery and she should be fine.
That's fantastic. I want to
Thank you.
I want to share a story of a lady in Norway, and later we will have some Norwegian colleagues who are also going to share what they do in Norway. And I gave a workshop in Norway, and besides I also did some consultations. And a woman came, she was in her late 50s, and she was diagnosed with MS some years ago. And because we know the principle of meta health, and it's a disorder on the level of action, I asked her, where in your life were you holding back? Were you not fully physically expressing yourself? Straight away she said, I know what you mean. My husband, he's the CEO of a company, I'm the housewoman, he's working hard and a lot of times. And when he comes back, he just wants to be pampered, he wants to have his peace and relax. And I love to play the piano. And when I played the piano, he was saying, please stop. I can't take it, I'm tired, it's too loud. And because she loves him, she wants to be a good woman, a good housewife, and he wants his approval and his love, she held back and she stopped playing piano. And then she developed MS. So she denied her unique nature, her desire to play the piano just to get the approval and the love of her husband. And that was the cause of her MS. So it's a dramatic disease where conventional medicine says there is no way that people can ever recover. And when you look what the cause can be, it can be something like that simple, like I don't play the piano because I do not want to disturb my husband. So holding back. So did this lady reveal what she was hiding from her husband?
Yeah, the fact that she was molested, she hadn't spoken to anybody but me. That was the first time she had spoken about it. And she was scared to tell her husband because she thought she would lose him or she would be chased out of home, even though she was 70 years, because I guess that is the condition Indian lives in. So yeah, that's it.
So she had been molested by another man?
When she was in the intensive care unit.
When she was in the intensive care unit. And because she thought, when I tell my husband what happened, he would blame me and he would drive me out of the house. So holding back is very, very the deep cause of the disorder on the level of action. So what have you identified, Kavita?
I have also worked with somebody with Parkinson's. And fortunately, the person had come to me in very early stages. And the conflict, according to what I believe, was if I break the word Parkinson's, it is Parkinson's. It is going beyond par to be able to do things for my family, especially the father, so that I can be a good son. And when I gave that question to him, that man has cried for 2 hours. because he has done everything under the sun to please his father, and his father just does not acknowledge him. And when finally he got that acknowledgement from the father for one small thing, that, okay, I'm happy what you have done, that is the day he came down with Parkinson's.
So that's very powerful, Kavita, because it's about recognition. Yeah? And that is something we ourselves, we do not acknowledge ourselves enough, and we do not acknowledge our friends, our family, and others enough.
And if he also see the reason that medically says is that there's not enough dopamine in these people. And even when we break the word dopamine, the pa comes into it. So it is my relationship with my father. And I had to really work on that and get him out of that place that you don't need his approval anymore. You are fine the way you are. You have an identity of your own. You've done everything you could. Now you have to live for you or yourself, your wife and your children. And that is where I wasn't able to reverse how much ever damage was done, but Parkinson stopped going any further than what it was. So fortunately, he's still moving around. He's doing whatever he needs to. His speech was also started getting bad. So even that has recovered a little, and there was no further deterioration.
So how old was this client?
He was, I think, only 35.
35?
Yes, when he came to me, he was 35.
So being 35 and still thinking I have to prove something to be worthy so that my father acknowledges me. So we really have to learn that the approval we are longing for when we are kids, because we are in a dependent situation without the parents we can't survive, there comes the time in our life where we have to be self-determined. And we have to take control of our life. And all the acts and all the strategies that we had as kids to survive are now obstructing us and are not positive anymore, helping for survival. And that is where we have to learn to let go. Because we all, at the age of 5, start to make an image about ourselves, to protect ourselves, to survive. And we have to learn to let this image go and to reinvent ourselves. That's very, very important. So, Dr. Anton, where in the brain, because you are our brain expert, where do we find the relays connected to the musculoskeletal system?
It's easy. Ne? We find it in the cerebrum medulla.
So it's in the medulla. And what is the emotion behind it?
And the emotion behind it, the self-worth. No?
So self-value and self-esteem. And is the man in who talked that we can't evaluate the self. He's not here. But he is absolutely right. How can we measure the self? And I really have to appreciate and acknowledge him, because I was using the term self-esteem, of course being aware that you can't evaluate the self, but I was still using the term. And I'm now more mindful about the language. Yeah? That when we start talking about self-esteem, self-regulation, self-worth, we are already putting ourselves down. So we really have to be very, very mindful about the language. So it's all connected, that we think that we are not worthy enough and we have to prove something. And the most important is that we are holding back. So now let's make an exercise. Go to your neighbor, to the next person towards you, and share with the person where you identify where you in your life are holding back. Do it for 1 minute, and then please shift. Okay? Okay, please start now. We also. But we can put off the mic.
That's now difficult for me.
In India, having a living relationship is considered a taboo.
Okay.
So, even though I am in a living relationship, but because the divorce is not happening, it weighs on me that I'm living with another man despite the divorce. And because of that, already my family has abandoned me.
Very difficult here.
Very. My parents are not talking to me, nobody's talking to
Yes,
me.
they say you are not our daughter.
Yeah, it's like
Yes,
they
you are
completely
totally
thrown me out.
separated.
Yeah, like right now, other than my partner, my two children, and of course the support that my teachers have given me, I don't have a family. And to think I have a family of 250 people, that's bad. So that is the reason, like my partner always says, I don't.
So, thank you very much. How did you, how much? Okay. So how did you feel with this exercise? Who wants to share? Mavis from South Africa.
I think the exercise is just like, not necessarily a realization, but being allowed to let it out. Yeah, so allowed to be authentic for a while, just talking about it, because I think a lot of the issues we're having, we're actually holding back, so we can't actually express them. So this opportunity is like, here is your turn, here is your chance to let it out. So a little bit of relief and awareness.
Thank you. And here's the man who told us, please stand up and acknowledge him.
Thank you. Thank you.
That we have to be very mindful when we talk about evaluating or giving the self a worth.
You have to choose word very carefully. Words has got meaning and we perceive some different meaning also. Even the word may not be right.
Thank you very much. So now we go to Oddrun from Norway.
It's strange because I said almost the same as you. So maybe it's about us, women. And you said also that I sometimes feel I'm not respected. And maybe we don't send it back, that we are not respected.
So you experience in the interaction and mainly with men or with whom?
I think mainly with men.
And in the interaction with men, you sense I'm not respected and you're not expressing it. Okay, thank you. Some
A belief system for the woman. I think this, I know that, or, so, yeah. I think is this belief system for the woman. The others, men or others, anybody, is not respect me, or I'm shouting all the time, I'm here, I'm a good woman, a good wife, a good mother, but yeah, he is understand me, yeah, maybe. Woman is all over the world.
Okay, now it's very interesting. We had 3 women here and 1 man. And if you look at where the men are now in this talk, it's mainly the women who were here, especially in the front. That's just an observation. I don't know if it has a meaning, but with what you are sharing to feel acknowledged and valued in a world that is dominated from the male perspective is a challenge for women. So, Dr. Bader, do you know about the statistics of MS? Is it more with women or more with men? We are going to complete this now with the words of our wise Dr. Bader.
Exactly, I don't know. I think more women than men.
So you have experience in your clinic more women. So thank you very much. And this is something very, very important. We've got 3 aspects of disorders. The first one is receptive. What we receive through the senses has to be analyzed, and that is integrative disorder. And the third one is disorder. And our wonderful Russian colleague said, it's about results in our lives. And without action, no result. And if we are holding back because of the conditioning and because of the fear of not being loved, then we are living a second-hand life. Then we are not fully expressing ourselves. And each one of us, the way we are right now, is whole, complete, and perfect. And we do not need to fear to express what and who we are. So that's very, very important. And even if you have got disorders like MS, what all three of you have said, it is possible to overcome that. Yeah? And with the understanding of mental health, you just know to ask the one question to get the answer. So thank you very much.
Big round of applause to get the best information from Gita, Kavita, Anton, and lovely words, inspiring words from Dr. Kwesi. It's all about de-evaluation to evaluation to self-evaluation to self-knowledge journey. We all go through the process of pain and pleasure, but we have to see that, how we can balance ourselves. So now comes
the dance. After this depression of the musculoskeletal system, we see the musculoskeletal system in action with a wonderful dance performance.
This dance is going to be carried on by an amazing person called Neha Banerjee. She is done amazing work on herself, and she's right now, I think I will let her come and tell you her achievements, but most important, she is going to show over here how sexual abuse and mental health are so interlinked, and how both of these could stop you actually from moving ahead in life. So she's actually created this and taken her time out of very busy schedule to give you something that will leave an impression on you. So just give me 2 minutes before she comes in. I have to fetch her from wherever she is. So just give me 2 minutes. You want to go, Yeah.
So let us have some verbal clearing. Are you all ready for it? Yes, Mr. Shirish? I am doubtful because she's just gone to get her. And if anyone has something very valuable information to share, I think we will take it a little later. Yes? Come.
Can the DJ play one song for me? Okay, that's all.
For the dance, we'll get ready for that.
Okay.
So how can we be more and more authentic? How can we be more and more self-loving? How can we be more and more self-accepting? It's a question to thrive on, and it's a question to learn. Lot of things have opened up regarding self-knowledge. How many of us really love ourselves? I had a beautiful WhatsApp program, Fly. The Fly was first, love yourself. And in that, there was one important topic, and that was take responsibility for your happiness. If you're thinking that somebody else is going to come and fill up your pockets of happiness, you are wrong. It is you who are responsible for your happiness. So we have, she's come.
You know, all good things take time, right? So she's dressing up. Last 2 minutes, she has to put her hair up, and she'll be here with you.